The Tigers head to North Carolina for their final road game of the regular season. The Tiger Football Report starts now.
For an athlete, there's nothing scarier than a torn ACL.
Athletes trust us with their care and their careers because we're a recognized leader in sports medicine.
Get back to your active life sooner with MedStar Sports Medicine.
Wise Market's ice cream plant is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and locally owned and operated. We've been making our ice cream for nearly 50 years. We create roughly 70 flavors of ice cream right now. We use local ingredients, especially our cream, which is from our milk plant. The cream is what gives our ice cream a rich and creamy texture. Now, together with our customers, we've created a product called Peanut Butter Indulgence, which will be coming out this summer. It's a peanut butter ice cream with sea salt caramel swirl, chocolate-covered pretzel. How could you go wrong with that? Personally, I love our ice cream. If you come to our house at any given time, you'll find at least 5 packets of ice cream in our freezer. Our kids grew up eating Wise quality ice cream, and now we get to treat our grandchildren to it. It's been a pleasure for me to be tasting ice cream for over 40 years for Wise Markets, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Welcome, fans, to another edition of the Tiger Football Report. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose. And, Coach, this week, the Tigers head to Elon, North Carolina for a matchup with the Phoenix. Second straight year, Towson has gone down there because of the goofy stuff that goes on with CAA scheduling. Uneven schedules, this, that, the other thing. Some teams don't want to play somewhere, and who knows?
Politics.
But anyway, the Phoenix, they're a top 5 football team. They are tied for first place in the CAA. They not only had the offensive player of the week this week, they had the defensive player of the week this week in the CAA after the win against Rhode Island. But this is a team that is completely different than it was 3 weeks ago because they've lost their quarterback and they've lost their star running back. They've changed everything midstream.
They lost some really, really talented players, but they had some really, really talented guys backing them up. And they've adjusted their offense a little bit schematically. They're different, but they're still effective, and they're running the ball extremely well. You run the ball and you play good defense, you got a chance to win any ball game.
They were throwing the ball about 22, 23 times a game coming into the last 2 weeks. The regular quarterback, Davis Cheek, gets hurt. They bring in the backup, Jalen Green. They have only thrown 19 passes total in the last 2 games against Richmond and against Rhode Island. Last week against Rhode Island, just 8 passes in the game. Now, are they running just a standard offense, or are they going to an option type of deal, or what?
He's still throwing it a little bit. He's doing some RPO stuff, and he's more of a runner than Cheeks is. So they're doing the read zone, and he's a viable candidate as a runner. Like, he's good with the ball in his hands in space. So they're really playing with 11 in the run game, and that allows them to do a little bit more. He's a streaky passer, and I think that's part of it. They're playing to his strengths. He can be very, very good, very accurate. He's got a quick release, gets it out hard and fast. But on occasion, he's off and doesn't have that kind of rhythm that was established starting in camp with the starter for so long. And I think they're trying to build that back up before they throw him to the Wolves.
What about them defensively? What do they bring to the table on the defensive side of the football?
Play another odd front. Their linebacker Messers, he was an All-American, All-League player, All-American player. Their front seven are big, strong, fast. They play their scheme well, which is, do I say that a lot? Yeah, I probably say that a lot, especially about teams that are really, really good. That those guys know their scheme very well. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they're physically good enough to hang with just about anybody. They're solid in the back end, but they don't have to be as good because they are so good up front.
For your team, coming off back-to-back tough losses to Delaware and to Maine, now coming in, you go on the road to take on Elon, finish up against Madison. You know, if you win 2 games, you're getting to the playoffs at 8-3, especially with this schedule that you've had to play over the last month of the season. But you look at your offense, and it's been tremendous all year long. But let's step back for a second, and Tom Flacco has totally changed the offense of the Towson University Tigers. But there are times when Tom does make a pass that he probably shouldn't make. What does he need to do to make sure in these last 2 ball games against tough competition that he doesn't make that mistake?
We actually had this conversation in a staff meeting after the Maine game, and in a discussion of a guy who's a playmaker who is a passer, truly is, and he can do a lot of good things with his feet, and he can ad-lib, play breaks down and he can ad-lib with the best of them. He really can. He's got great vision. The difference between him in the beginning of the season and later in the season is in the beginning, he was just trying to run the offense. And then when the offense broke down, he'd go make plays. Now he's understanding the offense versus the defense so much more that he's taking step 3 before we ever get to step 1 on occasion, and that puts us in bad situations. Something that we talked about we need to get back to this week. Just running the offense, doing what you're told to do, and then if it breaks down, go do what you do. And it tends to work out much better that way.
Another odd thing, Jabari Allen catches a touchdown pass early in the football game. That's his only catch of the game. He was targeted 4 times. Was it something that Maine was doing to take him away?
Yeah, definitely. They played more man coverage than we'd probably faced in a while from anyone. And he was hot and cold. And once he got cold, he stayed cold. And it's a thing with wideouts that it's the circle up or the circle down. When things are going well, you end up doing just about anything. And when things start to go down, then you have to do something to stop that cycle. So he's had a good week of practice, and we're not worried about that anymore.
When you get to this point of the season with a couple of weeks left, and it's been a grueling schedule, what do you do practice-wise? Do you kind of dial it back a little bit? I remember Bill Walsh always talking about that as the season went on, he had to make sure he watched what he was doing with his players.
Oh, God, yeah. You're constantly managing all of them and their time and their strength and their weight and the hours of competition and how many plays that they played and play counts and all that stuff. We're trying to keep track of them using some technology about how many steps they take, how much they run, how much effort they put out per day. But yeah, the standard is you dial it back a little more each week because you got a great foundation, you got a great base, and now it's just little tweaks here and there.
All right, well, the Tigers hope to tweak the Phoenix this Saturday in Elon. Game time is noon. Gordy Combs and I will be with you at 11:45 with the pregame show on TowsonTigers.com and CBS Sports Radio at 1300. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Rob Ambrose, I'm Spiro Morekas. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Tigers.